many of you haven't read this book, which is a complete tragedy. So I am going to read it to you now. It's Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. I'm going to try to do the camera and read at the same time. We'll see how it goes. All right, so here it is. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored, and I've kinks in my legs from just sitting here day after day. It's work, how I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest, if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? The elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed. Do you guys think she'll never be missed? We'll have to wait and see. Very well, said the elephant, since you insist. You want a vacation? Go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg, and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie, and fluttered away. See, there she goes, leaving the egg. And Horton, let's see how he's going to get up on that. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on it, I must weigh a ton. All right. You think the tree's going to hold him? Gotta get the page turned. All right. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. Oh dear. And he sat all that day, and he kept the egg warm, and he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightened, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish she'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. He doesn't look very happy, does he? All right. But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach, and having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. She does look like she's having fun. That'd be fun right now, wouldn't it? Alrighty, so what's Horton gonna do? Oh dear. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, Phew! I'll stay on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. He looks really miserable, poor guy. All right, so poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd. Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird. Look at how miserable he looks. Look at how mean they are. Bullying's not nice. All right. And look at here. Here's all the pictures. They laughed, and then they all ran away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play, but he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Kind of looks ticked off there, doesn't he? All right. Uh-oh. This doesn't look good. Look at what's going on there. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For a while, Horton sat there. Oops, sorry. Still going. For a while, Horton sat there, so faithful, so kind. 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Oh, dear. Okay. Let's see what's going to happen next. I'm having trouble turning the pages. There we go. Okay. Oh, dear. He looks really scared. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. Oh, look at the rifles. There they are right there. Oh, dear. What's going to happen? I think he's going to stay on the egg. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high and he threw out his chest. He looked at the hunters as much as to say, shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Look at him being all brave. All right, what's going to happen next? But the men didn't shoot. Much to Horton's surprise, they dropped their 3 guns, and they stared with wide eyes. Look, they all shouted, can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree. It's strange, it's amazing, it's wonderful new. Don't shoot him, we'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money. Oh, dear. What's going to happen? Look at that. He doesn't look very happy. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside with Horton so sad that he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went with Horton unhappy 100%. Poor Horton. He's such a good guy. Oh dear, look at this. Up, out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains, 10,000 feet high, then down, down the mountains, and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. I wonder if he got car sick. And here we go. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip. Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray, and Horton said day after day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but am I seasick, 100%. Oh, poor Horton, look at him, he looks so miserable. All right. Here's the picture. There's a lot going on in that picture, huh? Oh dear, and look at down there. And after bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in a town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him. Bump, Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Wasn't very nice. Sold to a circus, then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington, too, to Dayton, Ohio, and St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota, and everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder and the farther he went, but he said as he sat in the hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Ooh, who's that? Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach, and dawdling along way high up in the sky, who, of all people, should chance to fly by, but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy, and spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, What fun. Well, I'll go to the show. What do you guys think is going to happen? What's she going to see there? All right. And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. Good gracious, gasped Maisie. I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, what do you guys think is going to happen? There rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild, alive scratching. My egg, shouted Horton. My egg! Why, it's hatching! Look at Maisie. Here comes the egg. But it's mine, screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. No, poor Horton. Look at the pictures. Look at what happened. What's going on there? But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. Look at how happy he is. Oh, I love Horton. Oh, look. And the people came shouting, what's all this about? They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. My goodness, my gracious, they shouted. My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant. Look at that. Look at how unhappy she is. And they sent him home. They sent him home happy 100%. All right, you guys. So there it is. That's the end. The best book ever. And one of my favorites. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Thanks.